Good day, it's March 3, 2025. As Elon Musk and President Trump continue to dismantle our administrative state and save money for tax cut for the super wealthy and big corporations, federal courts are likewise busy issuing injunctions and decisions to counter them. I'm Joe Buban. Welcome to the polls.
I'm Shahin. Welcome to this week's edition.
In one of the many cases brought against the Trump administration is related to the freezing of funds already allocated by Congress and the firing of hundreds of USAID employees and contractors. Service workers abroad and contractors who relied on U.S. funding for various world humanitarian services, including healthcare in war-torn areas and programs for AIDS, treatment, and malaria, are left to dry and abandoned. With the suspension of funding by the Trump administration through decisions by Elon Musk on funds already allocated by Congress in a budget bill passed last year. But on late Tuesday last week, a federal judge gave an order and indicated his anger and frustration for ignoring his order about unfreezing funds. U.S. Judge Amir H. Ali had ordered the administration, at least temporarily, to get funding flowing again, including to make good on its bills. Despite that order, USAID staffers and the business and nonprofit groups said they have not gotten payments. Judge Amir Ali was frustrated that the bench, when a Trump administration lawyer could not give him a straight answer of whether or not the administration had complied with his order. When the judge asked Indranil Sur, a lawyer for the government, was asked if he was aware of steps taken to actually release those funds, his answer was, "I'm not in a position to answer that." The case has been brought by the AIDS Vaccine Advocacy Coalition and the Global Health Council, representing the organizations receiving U.S. funds for work abroad. They asked Judge Ali to find the Trump administration in contempt for his earlier order. These funds for foreign aid are in billions of dollars. This is the second time a judge has found the Trump administration did not follow court order. In a separate case, U.S. Judge John McConnell in Rhode Island State also found on February that the administration had not fully unfrozen federal grants and loans within the U.S., even after he blocked sweeping plans for a pause on trillions of dollars in government spending. After that hearing last week, Judge Amir Ali only gave 2 days for the Trump administration to release funds on payment that were already due prior to his February 13 order.
In another of Trump's executive order, federal district judge in Seattle, Washington, has issued last week a preliminary injunction blocking Trump's executive order to suspending decades-old refugee program of the United States. Judge Jamal Whitehead of U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Washington issued an injunction order the government to effectively restore both refugee admission program and funding to the organizations that are assisting refugees. While the court considers the merits of the lawsuit to block Trump's order, Judge Whitehead stated that it appears that the Trump administration had exceeded its lawful authority by suspending a program that Congress established by law in 1980. More than 3 million refugees had been admitted to the U.S. under the program. The plaintiffs in the case, represented by the International Refugee Assistance Project, said in a statement that the president's discretion was not limitless, that president's ban is illegal and must be stopped. The plaintiffs in the case accused Mr. Trump of violating the law that established the program as well as the rulemaking procedure of the Administrative Procedure Act and Fifth Amendment guarantee of the due process. There are 9 individuals who were named as plaintiffs in that case. That includes a 22-year-old refugee from the Democratic Republic of Congo, who spent 2 years applying to resettle in the U.S. only to have his flight from Kenya to the US canceled 2 days after President Trump signed the executive order on January 20th. This is a welcome news to many refugee applicants that has been granted refugee status by the Biden administration. Many are still waiting to enter the US, but blocked by the Trump from entering. Among them are more than 30 families from Afghanistan who assisted the US programs during its occupation in that country and had escaped certain death from the Taliban. Another one is an Iranian woman refugee who was already in the US but deported by ICE to Panama after Trump suspended the refugee program. This Iranian woman escaped Iran from certain death because she converted to Christianity, which is punishable by death in some Islamic state.
In a separate case, another federal judge blocked the Trump administration from deporting 8 asylum seekers. U.S. District Judge Randolph Moss in Washington, D.C. issued an administrative stay on their deportation. One of the 8 asylum seekers include a family of 4 fleeing the Taliban. Another is a man who claims he has been jailed and tortured in Egypt for his political views, and a woman from Ecuador who says that her police officer husband would possibly kill her. Attorneys representing the asylum seekers say that the Trump administration is breaking the law and not giving those with credible fear of persecution and violence the chance to obtain legal status. Judge Randolph Moss, an Obama appointee, said that he requires the Justice Department to provide him more information until Friday, February 28th, about the asylum seekers in this case. It is likely that if the Justice Department is unable to provide that information because of the chaos right now in the government agencies, Judge Moss can rule in favor of the asylum seekers. Then the government can just appeal this in Court of Appeals, D.C. Circuit. We will take a commercial break. Please stay with us.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
All the ladies in the house, after you've gone and left me crying, after you've gone, there's no denying.
Mga kababayan! Welcome back to Chika Chika Today. Who is this mystery woman that Maynila's Principe of Pop seems to be smitten with?
Can't I just say, I like you?
What are your intentions with my mother, sir?
He must be Miguel.
Oh, Sin City sweethearts!
You break her heart. I'll break your pretty K-pop face.
I don't want him to think that I'm trying to be his dad.
Is this the real deal? Will she be the inspiration for a new love song? Or quite possibly another one of Gabriel's heartbreak hits? We will keep you posted on any updates as this story unfolds.
Made to Shine, coming soon. Presented by Philam TV Network. Written and directed by Giovanni Espiritu.
Executive produced by Sam Buban and Esmeralda Padilla Gould.
Welcome back to The Pulse. A good news for Filipino Americans in Nevada and the US. The Filipino town Las Vegas Cultural District, which had been a project of the community leaders in Las Vegas for a few years, under the leadership of Reverend Pastor Rosita Lee, will come to a reality soon. After a working group of 13 community leaders and stakeholders in behalf of the entire Philam community in Las Vegas, and worked on the requisites of the Clark County. A closer to the final step requirement was accomplished last week. The Paradise Township Board, a neighborhood empowerment board, had unanimously approved the request for the formation of the Filipino Town Cultural District in Las Vegas. During a public hearing Tuesday last week that was attended by the Filipino community leaders and stakeholders, the Paradise Township Board approval will finally allow the Board of Commissioners to make a decision to approve or not approve on this matter. Pastor Rosita Lee and Mr. Bernie Benito and CPA lawyer Bing Longakit spoke before the Township Board, as well as Corin Ramos, the Filipino Town Las Vegas's Public Relations Officer.
Good evening, honorable board members of this district. And my name is Bernie Benito. I've been here since 1972, and I'm a 77-year-old senior. And I've seen the growth of Las Vegas. And during the time of 1972, we have only around 200 Filipinos. That's why we know each other. From that time on, of course, the rapid growth of the Filipinos really made an impact in shaping the landscape, the economic, the social, and the political landscape of Nevada, especially our city of Las Vegas.
We broadcast to millions of people. And we have here tonight with us Mr. Carl Magno, who has the Filipino Network, as well as other networks. We have the Royal Civility Network, and that is also based right here at the Boulevard Mall at 6350. The culture of the Philippines is a beautiful culture, and we want to share that with everyone. And we do that every year with the festivals. We do that every year with religious festivals, as well as just having fun together and celebrations. What we love doing is wearing our costumes whenever we can to show that we are from the Philippines. Yes, we are here as American Filipinos.
Commissioner Tick Seeger-Bloom had consistently expressed his support on the cultural designation, as well as other commissioner indicated support. Such cultural district will be the corridor starting from Desert Inn and Maryland Parkway, up to Flamingo and Maryland Parkway. This particular part of Las Vegas is where Seafood City Supermarket is located, as well as various Filipino-owned businesses and professional practices. It is also where PHLV Radio, Phil MTV, and Vegas Plus Media is located. The Filipino Town Las Vegas will be held in information and public engagement for all Filipinos on Friday, February 28th at the 6350 Phil M Central, located at the Boulevard Mall along Maryland Parkway, Las Vegas. The final decision from the Clark County Board Commissioners will be on March 14th next month.
The Republicans in the House of Representatives are facing angry constituents in their district. Their voters are upset about what Elon Musk and President Trump destroying the government services and directly affecting the people in their district, from Medicaid, veterans benefits, education, and firing of government employees, economic impact these things are doing in their congressional district and country. Here, Congressman McCormick being booed at a town hall.
Tyranny is rising in the White House, and a man has declared himself our king. So I would like to know, rather, the people would like to know what you, congressmen, and your fellow congressmen are going to do to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House.
When you talk about tyranny, when you talk about presidential power, I remember having the same discussion with Republicans when Biden was elected. The funny thing is, you're sitting here and a lot of you would probably say those January 6s who are yelling just as loud as you, who are upset just like you, and not listening.
Hey, let's restore some order. Let's restore some order. Hey, let's restore some order.
So
Stop
yelling at me is not going to get any answer, okay? I don't think executive privilege should be as strong as it is. I think we're out of balance right now. I think your direct representation, whether you like me or not, I'm the closest thing you have to a representative. Your senator's not going to be as representative as me, and the president's not going to be as representative as me when it comes to you, the people in this district. Likewise, I think state government needs to be more powerful than federal government. It used to be that federal funds only made up 1/3 of the money spent, and states was 2/3. It's more representative of your money and your money spent. That's better. Always push government down to the local level because you'll get better representation. I don't want to see the president make all the decisions. I don't. I didn't want to see. Do you not want to hear that I just said? I answered it directly. I said, I don't want to see any president be too powerful.
And here's Wisconsin congressman facing angry constituents.
The fact that Elon Musk is there, he will be able to raise questions, and because of his fame and financial success, I think all of a sudden he is going to be able to force Congress to look at things like aircraft carriers, okay, which wouldn't happen otherwise, okay? Now, well, we'll have time for a lot of questions, and I know we're going to get, unless we have very different people than we did in Fox Cities, Fox Crossing, unless we have very different people, we're going to get questions on Elon Musk. So, obviously, President Trump has issued a lot of executive orders. I think by and large, this is moving very quickly compared to other administrations, and I think across the board. He's done some very good things. I think he's gotten rid of birthright citizenship.
Illegal as hell.
He's gone back to the stay in Mexico policy, which I think is one of the major reasons why we no longer have thousands and thousands of people crossing the southern border every day. He's getting rid of the DEI. Which is an ideology whereby when you look at people,
Let's take a commercial break. Please stay tuned.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
In our world news, aid restrictions and withdrawals leave Sudan destitute facing hunger alone, according to Al Jazeera. Sudan is facing a deepening humanitarian crisis as relief agencies that provide critical humanitarian aid disappear. In recent days, the freezing of U.S. humanitarian assistance to Sudan has resulted in a reported closure of up to 80% Sudan's emergency food kitchens. While the dramatic reduction in the presence of medical NGO Doctors Without Borders, known by its French initial MSF, has left some of the country's worst hit areas without emergency medical coverage, as violence levels rise. Sudan's fight between the Sudanese Armed Forces SAF and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces RSF has been going on since April 2023. Tens of thousands of civilians have been murdered during the war. Many more have been injured, and an estimated 12 million people have been displaced. According to the UN's World Food Programme, WFP, famine has already begun in more than 10 districts, with another 17 on the verge of famine. Nonetheless, despite the rapidly deteriorating humanitarian situation, the war looks to be ongoing, with the Sudanese army currently moving on Khartoum and RSF announcing the foundation of a competing government. US President Donald Trump's executive order imposing a 90-day hold on USAID funds has come at a critical time for Sudan, where its facilities have provided a lifeline to millions in need. According to the BBC, 1,100 communal kitchens have been closed as a result of the suspension of US foreign aid, and a volunteer at one of the shattered kitchens claimed that individuals have resorted to knocking on volunteers in dire need of assistance. Sudan is in risk of becoming the world's largest hunger crisis in recent history. According to the World Food Programme, as the country's brutal civil conflict destroys livelihoods, infrastructure, trade routes, and supply networks, the famine, which was first documented in North Darfur Zamzam camp in August, has now spread, with the UN reporting that an estimated 24.6 million people are today suffering from acute starvation. The situation in North Darfur is particularly critical because its largest city, Al-Fashir, has been besieged for months by the RSF, which has escalated its offensives in recent weeks, including an attack on Zamzam camp itself, where approximately 500,000 people have sought refuge after being displaced by the fighting. The fighting has compelled MSF to evacuate from Zamzam. Halting our project in the midst of a worsening disaster in Zamzam is a heartbreaking decision, said Yahya Khalila, MSF's Sudan country director.
On the third anniversary of the war, Western officials visited Kiev, Ukraine, and pledged military support against Russia. In a report from the Associated Press, Ukraine observed the bleakest anniversary yet of its conflict against Russia, with the country's military under severe strain on the battlefield and US President Donald Trump's administration appearing to embrace the Kremlin in a reversal of American foreign policy. In a show of solidarity, more than a dozen Western officials traveled to Kiev for memorial activities making the 3-year anniversary. They warned of the war's broader repercussions for world security and pledged to continue delivering billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine as doubts about the USA's commitment to assistance grew. Washington did not send a senior official to the event. Hours after the anniversary celebrations, Trump stated that he expected Russian President Vladimir Putin would accept European peacekeepers in Ukraine as part of a prospective peace accord to end the conflict. Separately, Putin suggested that European countries may be involved in a settlement, but he also stated that he had not discussed the problem in depth with Trump. The 4th year of war could be significant as Trump leverages his return to office to advocate for peace. Autocrats throughout the world are keeping a close eye on whether there is impunity for violating international borders or invading a neighbor, or if there is actual deterrence. European Union President Ursula von der Leyen cautioned in Kiev. According to some experts, Russia's triumph in Ukraine may boost China's ambitions, just as Moscow maintains that Ukraine is legitimate Russian territory. China claims Taiwan as its own. North Korea and Iran have also supported Russia's war effort. In a series of bad developments for Kiev, Trump has recently labeled Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky a dictator. indicated Ukraine is too responsible for the war and lifted Putin's 3-year diplomatic isolation by the United States. U.S. officials have also warned to Ukraine that its dreams of joining NATO are unlikely to be realized and that it will most likely not reclaim the land occupied by Russia's army, which accounts for about 20% of the country. On the battlefield, Putin's troops are making steady progress while Ukraine struggles with a lack of personnel and ammunition. The shift in Washington's approach has raised concerns in Europe, where nations fear being sidelined by the U.S. in efforts to negotiate a peace agreement. They are considering how they will make up the difference of U.S. funding to Ukraine is reduced. These changes have strained transatlantic relations. European Council President Antonio Costa stated on Sunday that he would call an emergency summit of the 27 EU leaders in Brussels on March 6. With Ukraine at the top of the agenda, we are out of time for this show. Please join us next week. I'm Joe Buban. Thank you for watching.
And I'm Shahin. God bless your week.